this session is basically to highlight the issues that children are facing with regards to diabetes in general. And for the ones that are watching, as you can see, the person on my screen here, the lady's name is Sanelisiwe. So I'll give the platform to her for her to quickly introduce herself, and then we can get started.
Thank you so much. As you mentioned, my name is Sanelisiwe Mazibuko. I have also been living with type 1 diabetes for a long time, 28 years. I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old. So I've kind of grown up with the condition and have learned how to live with type 1 diabetes. I am in Cape Town. I'm based in Cape Town, but I was born and bred in KwaZulu-Natal, and then I moved to Cape Town about 10 years ago. I'm an HR professional. I enjoy the outdoors, and I have a daughter.
Thank you very much. So like on then my thing on like since our previous interview, like my listeners have been asking like how has the journey been like I know I asked this question on A, but like they really like want to know like in detail this time, like how has the diagnosis been, like all the way from being diagnosed from the age of 7 till now, because I know like it's not a very easy and child friendly journey, I might add. So like how has the journey been?
I think, as you mentioned, there's different parts of the journey. Diagnosed quite young. I also think that when I was diagnosed, there wasn't a lot of conversation and acceptance to young people having type 1 diabetes. I think for the most part, it was typically seen as a condition that affects older people. So sifo sabantu abadala, ogogo and stuff like that. So there was a lot of adjustment from my family side in accepting that I've got diabetes. I was in and out of hospital quite a lot as a child, especially in my teenage years, because with your teenage years comes a lot of hormonal changes. And the thing with diabetes is with type 1 diabetes, your body does not produce a certain hormone, a hormone called insulin. So as your body changes and this hormone changes, it also affects how your body reacts to diabetes. But I think now that I'm a bit older, I'm a bit wiser, I've got a better understanding of the condition. I ask more questions now, even in my consultations with my doctors. I ask more questions, which means that I understand the condition a little bit better than I did 20 odd years ago.
Yeah, definitely, which is like from my side, I can say that like this journey, it's not easy, and in fact the fact that it chose you, but you don't choose it, it chooses you.
Yeah.
It shows that it shows that you're very tough, like normally like the pancreas is supposed to run on auto, but you as an individual, you have the privilege of like running your pancreas like tens of thousands of cells. You're making them like run on manual, which is actually like a big thing. So like it shows that like like a very tough individual, and like there's like a lot of strain which like comes with that, like particularly with me, because I was diagnosed at the age of 15, and from that age, like it has not been easy. Like I might add, like it has not been easy, but it comes with territory. Eh? Like there's nothing that you can do. It just comes with territory. As I've mentioned, that you don't choose the journey chooses you, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I want to like basically like highlight um the questions that like that my listeners have put forward, right? So I have like 3 questions from my listener, Kimberly.
Yeah.
So she's like she's asking like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how deadly is diabetes? Because like there's a lot of like highlights about diabetes being very, very deadly, right? So I wanted to like share it like from your angle, and then also like share it from my own angle.
Cool.
So over to you.
Cool. Thanks for that question. And it's a very good question. I think diabetes is quite deadly in the sense that, if I'm not mistaken, in the past year, it's been identified as the top killer of the top cause of people's death in South Africa, which is a very worrying thing. And I think the reason for it is two-pronged. The one is there's a lot of people who are living with diabetes that are not diagnosed and do not know that they have diabetes. And that's why it's called the silent killer, because some people don't know what the symptoms are, and then they end up getting deteriorating quite quickly and end up dying very quickly. The other reason is, I think people who do know that they have diabetes, because of stigma, people tend to not want to admit that they have diabetes or accept that they have diabetes, and then because of that, they end up not looking after themselves the right way. So you end up going out and you're having what typically more sugar-based food, or food that is not good for your body, just to look cool and seem like you're okay like everybody else. But that's actually causing more harm, because with diabetes, the danger comes more on an internal part, so your organs start giving in and stuff. So I think once people know more about the condition, they're able to accept it and look after themselves better and live a long life with the condition.
And then Mina, from my side, whenever like someone asks me like how deadly is diabetes, I can say like it comes back to like the management of it. Like how you manage diabetes. Yes, it's very, very unpredictable. You can be managing everything quite well, then it decides like, you know what, today I just want to misbehave and just make your life a living hell. So I can really like say like it goes back to like the management of it. Like if you manage it, yes, there'll be those days, but those days won't be as severe as like you like managing it like poorly. Like I remember when I was diagnosed, like the doctor diagnosed me, they were like, Chief, you know, like if you decide to like stay at home like 2 days, it would be very, very like detrimental for you. Like all you could have taken was just like 2 more days, because I was already in DKA. And, you see, so like yes, it's very, very deadly, but how you can minimize the danger is by you like taking care of yourself, like ensuring that you take your medication accordingly, ensuring that you take good care of yourself, you work out. One thing that you might work out and be my type, no, just
Move.
just
That's
work
some
out,
movement,
like
yes.
yeah, like have some movement in your life. Like just go for regular
Yeah.
walks, eat healthy food, like manage your sugar intake. Yes, I'm drinking this currently because I haven't like I'm currently hypo. Hence why my head is all over the place. You see. So just do your very best to like take care of yourself. And we actually like have a few questions here. So the first one is actually like I want to know the difference between like diabetes, particularly with type 1 and type 2. Okay, so which one are you taking? Are you taking type 1, or should I take, or are you taking type 2?
I can take it. So the primary difference is a normal body, your pancreas in the normal body, it as you mentioned, it produces insulin. Insulin balances basically all the activities within your body in terms of the sugar you need, the sugar you already have in your body, and whatnot. It balances all of that. For a person with type 1 diabetes, your pancreas just does not work. And I think there's a belief that type 1 is inherited. That's not the case. You can get people who have lived healthy lives for up to 80 years, and then one day your pancreas says, no, this is it, we're no longer participating. That's it. And you can't do anything to prevent type 1 diabetes. No matter how healthy you live, no matter how active you are, whatever. Some children are even born with type 1 diabetes, right? Type 2 diabetes, on the other hand, is more induced by the lifestyle that you live. So if you excessively drinking, excessively smoking, you are very fat, and you're basically not looking after your body, that could lead you into having type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is when you become insulin resistant. So your body is making insulin, but it is not making enough insulin for it to carry you as it should. And then people with type 2 diabetes would typically use pills. And if it progresses, then you end up using insulin. But for type 1, you're likely to just go on insulin from the onset. There's no time for you to play around with pills and stuff.
Yeah, and like speaking of insulin, like I'm very, very glad that these things are very, very friendly. Like from like my side, so like as you've highlighted that with type 1, your body basically cannot produce any insulin. And like the one thing that I'd like to highlight is that with this thing, you basically have to like live with it for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yes, it's there. Yes, I can manage it, but then this is like something which I have to live with for the rest of my life. Just like you cannot live without water, I cannot live without insulin. So like the biggest highlights, like I want to know, like what has your biggest highlight been with regards to like living with diabetes? Because I know like there'll forever be like that one special moment which makes you like I'm kind of glad that I have something which I'm kind of glad that like my insulin decided to stop working. Like I mean like my pancreas decided to stop working. Like what has been like that one moment that you have? And yeah.
I think that's also my party trick. Like, yeah, no, I inject myself every day to stay alive. That's my party trick. And I think in terms of highlights, having diabetes, I think also because I've accepted it and I've grown up into it, and I've seen how people are who don't know enough about it. And I've also had the privilege to be in a space where I've got access to information and also insulin and access to doctors and stuff like that. So I ask questions and stuff. And I've used my platform on social media to share more knowledge and awareness of diabetes. I've got people in my DMs asking me questions like, if I'm feeling like this and this and this and this and this and this, what do I do? And I first put out a disclaimer to say I'm not a medical professional, so I can't diagnose you and say this, do this, or the other. But from my own experience, this is how I've dealt with this. I think one of the biggest challenges. I saw a question somebody asked, what is the biggest challenge about diabetes for the future, or something along those lines. I think when I was younger, my biggest fear with diabetes is the fact that two of them. One was I thought I could not live a long life with diabetes. The second one was being a female. I also thought that I could not have children because I have diabetes. I've been living for almost 30 years with diabetes. Again, to your point that if you're not managing it, if you are able to manage it, you are able to live a long life. And I've seen people living 80 years with diabetes, 30 years with diabetes. And I also 5 years ago was pregnant, and I carried full term. I've got a very healthy and active daughter. So it shows that I don't think there's anything that people with diabetes can't do. You yourself have limiting thoughts, but if you manage your condition well, you're able to do literally everything.
Which is like very, very true. In fact, like on my side, I'd like to take us back to like when I was diagnosed. Right? So what happened is like what majority of people in my circle, like I'm very, very proud about having people that I can call like my second. Like these people really like they did the most, and like majority of them are currently watching. Like they did the most for me because like I was already used to I was already used to living life in a particular way. So all of a sudden, like having to change everything from the age of 15 was like really not nice. Like it was not a nice thing. So what I actually like the one thing which like they did, like they made me assist like readjusting to like life. And one, so like how this happened was after like me coming out of hospital, like my facilitator from Save the Children of Africa, like she assisted like helping me like readjust to everything. Like she always like check me, include a push up, like is this okay? Like is this okay? Like and like okay, please teach us more about this. Please talk more about this. Talk more about like which is actually like it made me like feel good about everything. So yeah, I mean like you can actually like achieve like anything. Like you can do anything just because like the basic it's just a like it's more like you have a medal. Like basically like a free pass. Like a free medal and it's basically like giving a free pass to like eat sweets. Like sweets are nice man. Now like now you get to eat them anytime, which is actually a big thing. and and speaking of sweets, one of the questions that I also got from Okim, actually like can we eat fast food? So okay, let me take this one. So by being diabetic, means you can eat anything that you want, but then you have to eat it in moderation.
Yes.
And so yes, you can eat sweets, you can eat fast food. Fast food is there to be eaten, that should be enjoyed, but then you just have to eat it at a particular limit. Because remember, how like diabetes works is like it basically like it works on um like it's being driven by your sugars, right? So like if your sugars are too high, your body will react in a particular way. If your sugars are too low, just like me now, hence why like my brain is all over the place. Your body will react in a particular way, right? So yes, you can eat anything you want, just as long as you take your insulin, just as long as you work out and ensuring that you are healthy always, and yeah, to be proper.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So, can you take the question that just came by? What has diabetes affected your mental health or emotional well-being in some point? And just to add on this question, I'd like for you to like just be descriptive about it.
Okay. My mental health, I think being diagnosed young, I kind of accepted the condition quite young and grew into it. Um, there are days where diabetes is extremely hard, where you feel like in life you are doing a bit more to stay alive than the next person. Um, there are days, especially as a woman, especially the different cycles that we go through, where because of my menstrual cycle, my blood sugar tends to go high quite often than normal. But I've over the years learned to understand my body changes and my insulin and my insulin needs and so on. But on the flip side of it, there were times where I felt like I was on this journey alone. And I think from that aspect, it did feel quite lonely. There were times also where I was angry with the condition because of severity of whatever periods of life I was going through. So it's not all roses and good. Um, and and I don't think that I lived through those lonely periods long enough for it to get to a depressive state. But I also have been giving support to people who find challenges with diabetes and their mental health. People who are having a challenge accepting it, people who feel like they are going through diabetes alone, which is why I've kind of just opened myself out to speak to people to say that you're not alone. What are you going? What are you feeling? Let's try and work through that. And also growing up, I needed community. I needed other people living with diabetes in South Africa that I could talk to about challenges of living with diabetes in South Africa. What I found was that a lot of the support was online, but on an international space. Where if maybe I want to eat uputu and a gravy, a heavy, I needed to say that to someone who would understand it without me having to go over too much in explaining it. And that's what kind of led me to talk openly about diabetes in South African context, to say that there are challenges that a South African goes through that other people would not understand. And I felt that we needed that as a community to be able to be okay. Community also has played a big role in bringing awareness and speaking openly about diabetes. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, when I was a bit younger, I also felt like I needed to show up as always having my blood sugar correct. So you're not having blood sugar that's too high or too low and stuff like that. But also that was because I felt like the people around me didn't understand diabetes until I got older, and people were saying, no, I go through 4 days or 5 days of just being high, and this is what I do to try and get myself back again. But also with diabetes, there's a lot of numbers and a lot of thought processes. So just eating alone is not just a matter of, I'm just going to eat this burger or this sandwich. You need to think about, am I having an active day? If I'm having an active day, it means I might have to use less insulin and stuff like that. So after a time, after some period, if you're going through that every single day, you get to a point where you're just like, yo, it's too much. I want to tap out. I normally just allow myself to not care about diabetes for 2. I take my insulin, but sometimes I don't check to see what is my sugar like, because I just feel like I need to take a break from seeing the numbers and having to think about what am I going to eat, what activities am I doing. So we call it diabetes burnout, where every single person living with diabetes goes through it, where you just feel like you don't care about diabetes at the moment. It's allowed, you're allowed to go through it, but also don't dwell on it too much, because if you stay in that mode of burnout for too long, unfortunately diabetes is a long-term effect. If you just stay on that for too long and you're not taking care of yourself for too long, then you will suffer the consequences of it. So allow yourself to go through the burnout, but don't dwell on it.
Like definitely. Like speaking of a burnout, it kind of like reminds me of like early on last year. I was like I feel like that is when I actually experienced like my diabetes burnout. Because so what does it mean is like, so I was like, my sugars are always high, right? And being that I'm a very very active person, I'm very excuse that. I think they're having something here at the station. I think they're having something here at the station. And okay, it looks like they're campaigning for something, because I'm hearing vote for Alexa. So like what really happened is actually like my sugars are always very very high. I think that I'm a very very active person. It became very very difficult, because I could not like always like do like the things that I love. Being that like I love advocacy, I love standing in front of children, I love talking, and I could not do that because my sugars are always high. And like one thing about your sugars always being high is that like you're always sluggish, like you're always exhausted, like like I can't even describe I can say like the exhaustion, like if I were to describe it was, let's take it that you have exams the whole week and you have not studied, and you must definitely ace the exam. Like it was like that level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. Like it's like I can say like it really like affected me, especially like during my matric year, because I actually got like admitted to hospital during the matric exams, like a week before the matric exams, which was like it was a lot. Like honestly, it was a lot. And so I like to especially like give a huge shout out to my team and like my colleagues and my friends. In fact, like the family as a whole, for them always being there for me. Because like the one thing about like living with diabetic, it's not child's play. Like it's not child's play. So yeah, I mean, like, if you have someone who's diabetic in your circle, just please give that person a hug. They probably need it. Like, they probably need it. Like, this thing is not nice. Like here's not nice, man. And the fact that like with majority of the equipment and like the diet plans that we use, like all of them are international. Guys, I sometimes love that all like guys, I'm a song agent. I cannot live without pop. Like pop
Exactly.
is my go-to meal. So like now we're going to do a bonus calculation for pop. The pop is not there in the diet plan. Like in the diet plan, it's wheat bix, and why would I eat wheat bix for like for dinner? I need pop. I grew up eating pop. Pop is there. Like if I don't eat pop, I feel like I've not eaten. So
and and and
so like
and that's why we bring awareness in a South African context to say that what works for South Africans, what works for Americans doesn't work for South Africans. And that's why we also encourage more people in South Africa to speak about the challenges of a diet plan that accommodates for the European markets and does not necessarily advocate for the South African markets. And you will see, I don't know if but if you, I think it's called the South African Diabetes Advocacy Group, but they are now on a mission to get more South African dietitians to speak about managing diabetes. Because if you're a South African dietitian, you understand that our people want the papa nemfino nenyama yangaphakathi. How do we accommodate that for a person living with diabetes? How do we teach a person living with diabetes how to prep their body for that? And I always say that I've got family in rural KZN where not everyone has access to medical aid, where people have to go into a clinic to get the attention that they need. And that the conversations there are a little bit different to the conversations held in the private sector, conversations held in the Western Cape, because I've seen the Western Cape, how they run things. It's very different to how things are done in KZN. And that's why I speak about it, so that I'm able to go home. I'm going home now. And I must be able to say to my cousins and my aunts and my uncles who also have diabetes, no, it's fine. We can eat this and this and this, but this is how we're going to ensure that our diabetes doesn't get affected while we still enjoy a festive.
and thank you thank you very much for highlighting the challenges of the public sector, being that like as a child, right? Like as a child, it's very very difficult, like having to go there and get the medication, because there was a time where like I was like, no, this thing is useless. It's not helping with anything, because like so like we have different types of insulin,
Yeah.
right? So with that particular different types of insulin, I remember when I started out, I was using Actrophet, and my body
Exhibit
was
an extra
was
fade.
yes,
Me
and my body was so like it worked for like the first year. The second year, my body was like, nah, this thing won't work for you. I'm rejecting it. So like now it became very very difficult for me to like go there and like, guys, please change my medication, because like they were just saying, nah, we're not taking your medication according. And I was like it got so bad that I even like set alarms. I remember like sometime we were shooting something with PC Studios, and that time my alarm is busy going off. That time I'm busy shooting. So it was like it was a lot. So like it was a lot, and then came the point of like with the needles, and like they used to like the needles for the pen. They used to like I think I used to get 15 of them, which were definitely not enough. So this one time I ran out. So like now it got to the point where like now I must start repeating needles, and it's very very frustrating. And mind you, repeating a needle is not nice. You have to repeat, like it's very very painful. So it got to a point where like by the grace of God, my older brother put me on his medical aid, and then like now it's and then like now it's like I can say like it's nice because I managed to like change the medication, and like this medication that I'm currently using, it's very like it's doing the most for me. Like Novo Rapid, and it's like doing the most for me. Like so, yeah, man. Let me see. Oh, we have a comment here. Okay. So what's it there? Okay. Oh, well, there's a lot of comments here. Okay. Let me start with this one. Okay. So Wait. Okay, so what's your typical daily routine for managing your diabetes?
Okay. Again, because I'm no longer sort of in the public medical facility and more on the private side, I have now access to a continuous glucose monitor. You can't see it, but it's on the back of my arm. It's a little white patch that I put on my arm for 2 weeks. What it does is, instead of me having to prick my finger every day, it takes my blood sugar reading and it uses Bluetooth to transfer it to my cell phone, which is also linked to my doctor and a couple of family members as well. So in the absence of that, what I used to do is, as soon as I wake up, I used to check my blood sugar in the morning, just to have an understanding of what my blood sugar is looking like. Because obviously, as you sleep, you go through things, and your blood sugar fluctuates throughout the night. And also, checking your blood sugar first thing in the morning gives you a sign of whether the insulin you're using at night and the day before is effective or not. If you're waking up maybe for a week and your blood sugar is above, let's say above 10, that's a first red flag to say that your blood sugar is not being managed correctly, and there could be an issue with your insulin or your medication. Anyway, so I'd get up, get the day going, pack for work, get ready to go for work. I'm not always good at this, but you are supposed to check your blood sugar before you start driving, because by South African law, you're not allowed to drive if your blood sugar is less than 4, because it means that you could have an accident because you're having a hypo. Luckily for me, as I said, I've got a sensor, so my sensor makes a noise if my blood sugar is dropping, so then I know to treat it. But if your blood sugar is less than 4, you're supposed to at least have some juice to get you going so that you're able to drive. Anyway, then I normally have my breakfast at work, and about 20 minutes before breakfast, I check my blood sugar again, and I take my insulin. The insulin that I'm taking does not necessarily need you to wait. I know with Novo Rapid, you need to wait at least 15 minutes for the insulin to start working. But then we take the insulin before you eat, and then carry on with the day as is. I don't really do the whole snacking thing during the day, because I normally have my breakfast around 9, and then I have my lunch around 12, 1, and then I have my dinner around 7. So I don't snack as much unless my body is forcing me to snack because I'm having a hypo, which means my blood sugar is dropping. But the correct way of managing, especially if you're still doing manual finger prick tests, you need to test before meals, 2 hours after meals, and before bed as well. That gives you an indication of whether the insulin you're using, your activities of the day, and the food that you're taking, whether it balances out or not. If you're constantly high or constantly low as well, that could be a red flag to say that there's something in your management system that is not working correctly.
And like the one thing that I like to highlight is the fact that like even the type of like work that you do also like it also affects your blood sugars a lot. So wow. So like for example, let's take it that you are a student, the one thing which comes with being a student is the constant academic pressure, the constant studying, the constant whatnot, right? So meaning that number one, you will always be very, very stressed, because like stress also like affects your blood sugars a lot. It's not being mentioned, it affects them a lot, because I know like I can like on Monday I was writing a paper. So I got into the exam room, my sugars were at 6. During the exam, I could tell like I'm seeing stars. When I check my sugars, I'm rolling at 15. Why? Because like I'm writing the paper, so like I'm actively thinking, like I'm actively like using my brain. So like when you like constantly do that, it also like affects your blood sugar, right? Number two, when I mentioned that the types of activities that you do, as I mentioned, I'm a very, very energetic person. I'm a very, very active person. So one thing which comes with that is that like our like my body will always be hypo, being that like I like number one, I like originally I had a high metabolism, so like I can eat now, then I'll always be hungry. So now it comes to the fact that, excuse me, like being that like my sugars are like they can be normal, and then I decide no, it's like now let me go and run a session. When I run a session or when I present a show, because like I like the one thing that I was like that I always normalize is that like whenever I'm doing a show, I give it my all. Like I give it all my energy. I give it like I just give it my all. So like whenever I'm out of the studio, like always whenever I leave the studio, I make sure that I left everything of mine in there. By the time I check my figures around 10, 11, you can find that like nah, I've dropped because like actually like I gave it like I exerted like more of my energy. So like it like basically like many factors like affect the way your sugars work out. So just ensure that like at least if you are not using a continuous glucometer and you are pricking your fingers, just make sure that like you do it at least every 3 hours to ensure that to ensure that you don't pass out. Because I've had the experience of passing out. It's not a nice feeling. Like being a like I don't like being a burden to some people, but like like you cannot like passing out. Yes, it's nice in that moment because yes, you're being carried. It feels like it feels like in a movie, but but like it's not an like a nice feeling being that you're also causing stress to like the people that are around you. Like 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 I remember my first time passing out, I was with Casimiro. Casimiro is like my pro like he's my producer and he's my best friend. So like and as well like we were at a friend's house. So we're leaving the friend's house and like everything is fine. Pre-diagnosis, like everything is fine. Was just chilling. All of a sudden I'm seeing stars. I fall. And that time we had a car wash. So like he carried me across the street and then he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like I'm okay. I don't like not like nothing happened." And then like after the diagnosis, I was like, "No." So this is why, so like this is why like happened. And then as you know, like moving on, like diagnosis is being that like the diagnosis part of it, it's very like not friendly and it varies from person to person. So I want to know like being that you were 7 years old. Oh, speaking of Casimiro's watching, speaking of the devil. uh so like being that you were diagnosed at the age of 7 years old, like I want to know like how were your symptoms and how did you manage to like deal with them from that tender age of 7, being that like children are very fragile, man, and like their bodies is not child friendly at all.
Yeah.
So I want to know like how did you manage to like deal with like having the symptoms and in fact like being diagnosed because you mentioned that excuse me, because you mentioned that like it's very rare for parents to like talk about this, and in fact, not only like talk about it. There's also like a lot of misconception being that I mean I'm very skinny, and then like whenever I tell people that I'm diabetic, they're like, yeah, but then you're not fat. We're like, yeah, but then you're very active. Yeah, but then yes, you're very young. So like how did you manage to like deal with that from like all the way from the age of 7 till like till now?
Yeah, so I actually still remember it quite well. It was during that time, you're in grade one, and it was in preparation for our school sports day. So we're all excited, we're running and whatnot. But whenever we had practices for running, I would come back sick. I came back home sick every single day, and I tell my parents that after running, this is how I feel and whatnot. And they even wrote a letter to my teachers to say, can I not do the running? Can I do any other activity except running? Because I seem to get sick when I run a lot. And then also I was thirsty all the time. Uma used to pack 2 water bottles for me, and she would freeze one of the water bottles so that I have cold water for a longer period, and then also have normal water, because I would tell her that I'm thirsty all the time. And I remember towards the time of me getting admitted to hospital, I was peeing a lot, because I remember the one day I was just sitting watching TV, and I felt like I needed to pee, and before I could run to the bathroom, I had already peed on myself. So those are the things that stand out for me that I still remember about my diagnosis. And then oh, I was also vomiting a lot, and I'm not sure, but that was the case. And it was a Saturday. My parents were taking me to see a doctor, because now we're getting worried because we don't know what's going on. All I remember is I didn't make it to the doctor. I actually went into a diabetic coma for about 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks of me being in the coma, that's when they ran all kinds of tests and discovered that I have diabetes.
Yo, that is heavy. Like, like dealing with that from the age of 7, like that is very, very,
Age of
very
7. And then when I got out, I remember when I woke up very thirsty, and they gave me some water, and they also gave me, I think it was tea to drink. And then they started telling me that I needed to have injection every single day, but no one was really explaining why. They taught me how to administer an insulin shot, which I learned. And then they also told me about testing my blood sugar, to say that if it's between such and such, this is how much insulin you need, etc., etc. So I knew that. I learned that very quick. And then I had to go back to school, and suddenly my mom was cooking extra lunch for me, and I didn't understand why. And I think also my parents were going through the phase of also not understanding how I got diabetes. That I don't think they knew how to explain it to me either. So there were a lot of blanks in between, but I could see the changes in my life happening. But eventually we started having conversations about it, me going to the doctor frequently, me having a little bit of understanding. They also introduced me to a diabetic clinic. Unfortunately, it wasn't that interesting for me, because I think it was more targeted at older people. But I've seen over the years that they do now run diabetes camps for children at different parts of South Africa. So if there are people on the live who have children who are living with diabetes, try and connect your children to diabetes camps, because it helps when young people see that they're not the only ones going through it. And then they can learn tricks and tips through each other, because I also have learned a lot through my peers, because the doctor will obviously give you the medical side of things, but your peers tell you how they go about living each day. So for parents, if you do have children, please try and get your children to a diabetic kids camp. It helps quite a lot for them.
and definitely, because I can say that for me to like be at the level that I'm at, because like now I can actually like speak about diabetes, that it's being taboo and whatnot. It was like through me learning through my peers.
Yes.
There's this thing, like there's this such a level of excitement that you feel whenever you meet a new diabetic person. This is like the very same feeling is the same one that I got when when you engage me on my Instagram. Like it's very, very nice. Like the fact that you know that, okay, chap, I'm not alone. There's someone who's doing this, and like it's very, very, very nice, man. It's the best feeling ever. So yes, I suggest if you have a child who's like living with diabetes, just like enroll them in the camp. Ensure that they go, they have fun. They
Yes.
like the go, they emphasize the fact that, okay, sharp. You see now, you're a very, very special child. You you now have friends that, hey, this is not us like having the same toy car anymore. It's about us having something that we live with until,
Yes.
yes. So like it's great stuff. Like it's great stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. questions. I know like there are a few questions that I skipped here. Okay, so we have a question here. Bachi, what is your favorite norm on diabetes?
My favorite?
Thinking your favorite norm, your favorite activity on diabetes.
Talking about it. So actually talking about it with other people living with
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, because there are certain things that we say to each other that we don't have to over explain. You were speaking about pre-bolusing for a meal. I get that. But to a person who doesn't live with diabetes, you need to explain, before I can eat, I must take insulin that will be prepping my body for the kind of food I'm going to eat so that I don't have a spike afterwards. Also things
Mm-hmm.
like when you said you have a hypo, I get it that you have a hypo, and please drink the drink that you're having so that you are okay. Speaking with people living with diabetes for me is very exciting. I've also discovered that I like being in sessions with medical professionals. So recently I was invited, they were launching a new insulin pen that kind of does the same thing as CGM does. So it links to your phone. Whenever you administer insulin shots, it links to your phone to tell you that you've taken the shots and. Um, but in that session, I was the only person. Well, I was a person living with diabetes, but I was addressing medical professionals, and they were also asking me for my voice as a person with diabetes. Um, so I'm saying, please speak about your diabetes. It will get you invited to conferences and rooms where you will be the voice of the rest of us who are living with diabetes, who might not be there in that moment, but your voice could be used to make life-changing changes for us. Who knows? Maybe because we speak so much about it, we might all get access to free insulin, as opposed to paying whatever we're paying, co-payments that we're paying for insulin and stuff. So speak about your condition as much as you can, and speak to the medical professionals as well about it. Just because your doctor diagnosed you with diabetes does not mean that they know it all. There are some cases where your doctor could say, take this much insulin at night, and you say, but I've been doing that for the past couple of weeks, and I've decided to take less insulin, and these are the changes that I'm seeing in my body. Have those brave conversations. Please don't try and come across as having perfect sugars. Have those conversations, guys. I'm all about people living with diabetes. Sibaningi, siyabonisana, nje, we're growing in the condition and making diabetes acceptable in community as well.
Like, thank you very much, man. Like, yeah, like I basically don't have any comments. You just told anything, everything. and and yes, definitely. I feel like it's about time I because like I can say that I'm truly comfortable with the fact that now I'm diabetic, and yeah, it's about time I begin using my title as a child human rights defender, start defending for the rights of children that have that are living with diabetes, being that um, my voice is not only my voice, it's the voice of other 6 million children that are currently living with this. And I've experienced it, and it's not child's play. So I might as well just start making it child friendly. And yeah. Okay, so we have a question. But what are the potential side effects of diabetes medications, and how can they be managed?
Yo,
And
as I
for, and
said,
for,
I'm not a
and
medical
for this one,
professional.
and okay,
I haven't
and for
had
this
I
one,
haven't
can
had
I?
any side effects. I've been living,
Uh-huh.
I've been taking insulin since I was 7 years old. I think when I was in my high school years, we did play around with different insulin types. So I think just remembering that you don't have to take the same insulin for the rest of your life. You can change your insulin type because your body goes through changes. So if you feel that it feels like your insulin is not working, please talk to your doctor about it, and then they can change you into a different a different insulin that will work for your body. Outside of that, I personally do not know any side effects because I have not had any side effects from insulin.
Well, from my side, I can see like the worst case scenario that you can have is let's say that they give you like normal repeat, like when you're starting out with it. And when I started out with it, like the one thing that I used to have would be like I was always hyper, and so number one, like when I started with the medication, obviously like to be after effects of that one. So it's either you're always hyper or you're always hyper. So you being hyper, you be child friendly. You being hyper, it's when the sugars are below 4. So if your sugars are below 4, it means that chief, you need to eat something, you need to drink something, or else it's chai, just like me now. That's why I'm crimson again. And then if you're hyper, you need to administer insulin because, yeah. And then, so another one of the side effects, it's like your body can begin to reject like the insulin that you're taking.
Yeah.
So, but you need like, so like by your body like rejecting that particular insulin that you're taking, it means that you need to, as soon as possible, just go to the doctor and then they get it changed because now you're basically like it's basically like I love giving practical examples. So like when you're taking insulin that does not working, you're basically it's more like you taking a t-shirt and like a plain t-shirt, and then putting water in it and then expecting that the t-shirt will catch water. Like it's pointless. Like it's very much pointless. So just like I suggest you go to your doctor or the medical facility that you go to and then tell them that it's like like this particular medication is really not working for me, and then they do something about it. If they adjust the dose, they can adjust the dose.
Yes.
If they change it, they change it. Just don't die inside, man. Don't be like me. Don't don't be like me because be quiet is nice, but it's not a nice thing. Just like speak out. Okay, so oh yeah, but I wonder why you're wearing blue for diabetes. Okay, so this one so like the guy who's busy commenting here, he's one of the people that were present in that show. So like I told them, like I made the order. Like if they're coming to my so like guys, if they're coming to my show, like
Yes.
all of us are with them. They're like, why? I'm like, all of us are with them. I'll explain later. And they never got the explanation. So can you please like explain on my behalf before you show me?
Okay. See, here's my blue. I've done my nails blue, and if you ever look at my nails, there's a circle there as well, right? So that's the international sign for diabetes awareness. The month of November is the month that we celebrate diabetes awareness across the world, not just South Africa. And the 14th of November is International or World Diabetes Day. The 14th of November is basically the day, it's the birthday of the gentleman who discovered insulin as as a medical treatment for diabetes. His name was, actually I forgot his name, but his birthday is on something Benting. His surname is Benting. That his birthday is on the 14th of November. In 1991, the World Health Organization basically put forward that we celebrate diabetes on this day because of the rise in the number of people diagnosed with diabetes. The color blue symbolizes firstly, the circle symbolizes that there is life. Life goes on. So yes, you are diagnosed with diabetes. It does not mean the end of the world. Life does go on. And the blue symbolizes unity across the big blue sky. So it's not just a South Africa thing. It's not a Mozambique thing. It's not an Italy thing. It's a worldwide thing. So we are all under the big blue sky, and we wear blue to say that we support each other as people living with diabetes. And it's not only the people living with diabetes and our family and our friends and our colleagues. My company work blue for diabetes as well. So we appreciate and love the people that support us as well.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I feel like it's about time we give Frederick Benching his
Yes.
flowers for giving us his
Yes.
uh, Yeah, yeah, this guy really really assisted. So yes, and a special shout out to everyone who wore blue on that day. In fact, my boy is here with me right now. You see the camera.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a blue t-shirt. And he's
Thank
wearing a
you.
blue t-shirt. So yes, a very special shout out to everyone who wore blue on that day. And like to everyone who's still wearing blue. Like currently I've been doing this kind of like whenever I go and write, because I'm currently writing my exams. Whenever I go and write, I wear blue t-shirt, blue jean, blue shoes. But so wear some of the blue. Then I say like, what is it? Oh yeah, my last exam asked me like, when now what is it you doing? What are you doing blue? I'm like, it's November. Like, what's going on in November? No, what they're doing today. I mean, it's Diabetes Awareness Month, so like, and also like I just wear blue to like advocate for diabetes. But like, yeah, but then aren't you like young to be doing this? I'm like, Chief, as much as like you're old enough to be I should be I should be doing and drinking the things that you're drinking. I'm old enough to be doing this. Okay, great stuff. uh like I just checked the time and I think we've elapsed the time that I booked you for. But like honestly, like from my side and from the whole network of Save the Children, like to all the child human rights defenders, and to basically like all the children that are living with diabetes, I'd like to very much like thank you for your time. Like it was like nice having you, and who knows, but then I pray and I hope that we do this thing in physical next time, because this virtual thing is not nice.
I'm sure we can plan that I come to Johannesburg and I see you guys in person. Would love that. But thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you do, and the advocacy, and always looking out for the young people as well.
Thank you very much. I like it's very nice that I'm having someone to like speak to, and I'm very glad that you became that person in my life, and I highly appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, good people. Yeah, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the live. Shout out to everyone who watched, and yeah, this is like the first of many things that to come. I was advised that I'm gonna start speaking, so it's about time I start speaking. So this is the first one. So remember, it's always day one or one day. You decide. This is day one. No longer saying one day, but now in day one. And shout out to everyone who watched. Shout out to everyone who commented. And thank you for the questions. They are highly appreciated. And if you still have more, please feel free to like send that a DM, and I'll happily respond to your questions. And yeah, my people, unfortunately, it's on the way which translates to news don't end, conversation does not end, but unfortunately, time runs away. So, good people, from me, I like to highly appreciate you, and highly appreciate the time that you put forward here today. Wait, what's the want another interview soon? Okay, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. We'll definitely arrange for another interview.
Yes.
And yeah, from my side, thank you very much for being here with us. And yeah, bye.
Yes. Bye.
All right, good people. You can see, like, thank you very much for participating in this. And from me, Jara Kamovdani, let me bid you adieu.